Hello friends, imagine sitting down at your computer tomorrow morning to check your upcoming Social Security payment. You pull up your web browser, go to Google and type in My Social Security. You see a link right at the top of the page, so you click it. The website that opens looks absolutely flawless. It has the official blue logo, the exact government fonts, and the familiar login boxes you have seen for years. You confidently type in your Social Security number and your password. But you are not on a government website. You just handed the keys to your entire financial life over to an overseas criminal syndicate that paid cold, hard cash to buy a fake advertisement on Google. Within 24 hours, those criminals will log into your actual real account, change your direct deposit routing numbers to a burner card, and drain your entire monthly income before you even know what hit you. I want to be perfectly clear right from the start. The official Social Security website is safe and heavily encrypted, but this warning is about fraudulent, third-party websites that illegally impersonate the government to steal your credentials. In 2026, fake MySSA portals are the absolute #1 digital threat facing American retirees. If you do not know the exact rules to spot them, you're exposed. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because I am also going to reveal what Washington calls the 3-year, 3-month, and 15-day rule. This is a strict, hidden federal deadline buried inside the Social Security Act. If you miss a simple typo on your earnings history and let this clock run out, you will be permanently locked out of thousands of dollars in future benefits, and no government employee will ever call to warn you. I tell you this because the rules surrounding your retirement change every single year, and the government does not send out a handbook to explain your options. People who subscribe to this channel find out about these threats and opportunities in time to protect their money. The people who do not subscribe usually find out after their hard-earned dollars are already gone for good. Hit that subscribe button right now and let's make sure your check goes into your pocket, where it belongs. Let's look at exactly how this happens, starting with those search engine traps. This is what we call the sponsored ad phishing trap, and it targets any senior who uses Google, Bing, or Yahoo to find the Social Security login page. When you type those words into a search box, the very first results that pop up are often not real government pages. Criminals actively buy sponsored ads, so their fake websites appear higher up than the real agency site. They register domain names designed to deceive you, like my-ssa.login.com or socialsecurity-portal.net. The page is a visual clone of the real layout, built with one single goal: to capture your Social Security number, your date of birth, and your password. Take Robert, a 68-year-old retiree who recently got a new computer. He wanted to check his account, so he typed SSA account into a search bar. He clicked the very top link because it looked official, but it was marked with that tiny word, sponsored. The link took him to a domain called socialsecurity-update.com. Robert typed in his Social Security number and his password. The screen just said loading and spun in a circle, appearing to do nothing. But behind the scenes, the scammer instantly caught his characters. They used those stolen details to log into the real official website, bypassed his basic profile, and altered his direct deposit information. Robert's monthly check of $2,200 vanished on the 3rd of the month. Gone. He lost $2,200 instantly, and he was thrust into a 30 to 45-day bureaucratic nightmare trying to trigger a United States Treasury trace just to get his funds replaced. You can slam the door on these cartels by following a strict, unchangeable 4-step protocol. First, never type Social Security login into a search engine and click the results. Second, look at the very top of your web browser right now. If the website address does not end in exactly .gov, close that window immediately. Third, manually type the exact characters ssa.gov/myaccount straight into your top address bar. Fourth, once you are on that real page, bookmark it on your computer so you never have to search for it again. Be especially careful if you use your mobile phone. Scammers are heavily targeting smartphone users through a tactic called SMC-shing, which means fraudulent text messages. They send a text to your phone stating, "Your SSA account is locked and be opened the click here to verify." Mobile browsers routinely compress and hide the full website address on small screens, making it incredibly difficult for seniors to notice that they are clicking a fake .com link instead of a secure federal portal. This entire threat has become significantly more dangerous because of a major policy shift happening right now. It involves the legacy credential scam, which specifically impacts seniors who created their original My Social Security account prior to September of 2021. The Social Security Administration has officially phased out all old legacy usernames and passwords. Every single senior who has an older account is now legally required to transition to a high-security credential through either Login.gov or ID.me. Scammers know this transition is causing massive confusion across the country, so they are deploying massive email blasts offering to help you transition your account if you click their convenient link. Look at what happened to Susan, a 71-year-old viewer. She received an urgent email with a subject line that read, "Final notice, your SSA account will be deleted if you don't switch to Login.gov today. Click here." Susan got nervous, clicked the fake email link, and entered her old username and password to start what she thought was the official transition process. The scammer stole her details in mid-air. Had Susan completely ignored that email and walked herself directly to the real government website, her transition would have been 100% free and completely secure. By biting on that email hook, she exposed her $1,800 monthly retirement check to an immediate account hijacking. To safely complete this move yourself, follow these steps in order. First, do not click any link inside any email that claims to talk about transitioning your Social Security profile. Second, type ssa.gov/myaccount directly into your browser. Third, click the button that says Sign In. Fourth, select the option that says Create a Login.gov account and securely link your old profile using your own personal two-factor phone number. You will have to choose between two systems, Login.gov or ID.me. ID.me is a commercial identity verification provider. Partnered with the government, it often forces you to do a biometric facial scan, meaning you have to take a selfie with your smartphone and upload a photograph of your driver's license. Login.gov is entirely government-run and typically only requires a standard text message or email verification code. If you do not own a smartphone or you dislike advanced technology, you will generally find the Login.gov pathway much easier to navigate. Once you are securely inside the real portal, you have to watch out for discrepancies in your lifetime numbers, which brings us to a completely different type of trap designed to steal your cash up front. This is the earnings record correction hustle, and it specifically targets seniors aged 60 to 65 who log into their profiles and realize their projected monthly Social Security check is lower than they expected. Criminal syndicate operations set up fake portals offering to audit and correct your 35-year earnings record for a flat $500 fee. They tell you that the government is intentionally hiding money from you and that their proprietary service can magically boost your check. Let's bust this myth completely. The government calculates your primary insurance amount by looking at your 35 highest earning years, adjusted for inflation through a formula called your average indexed monthly earnings. If an old employer failed to report a W-2, or if there was a data processing glitch decades ago, a flat $0 figure is factored into that 35-year average. That single zero drags your entire lifetime check down significantly, but fixing this mistake is a completely free federal process that you can do yourself. You never have to pay a third party a single dime to do it. Let's look at John, who is 64 years old, and was reviewing his online statement. John worked a corporate position back in 1998, making $40,000. But when he looked closely at his year-by-year history on the real website, his statement showed exactly $0 for 1998 due to a corporate tax filing error made by his old employer. Because that $0 entry was sitting on his record, it was being used as one of the 35 years to calculate his lifetime benefit. By stepping up and correcting that single year from $0 back to $40,000, his average indexed monthly earnings automatically increased. That one correction raised his permanent monthly retirement check by roughly $30 a month over a typical 20-year retirement, fixing that single typo gains John $7,200 in real wealth. The scammer wanted him to pay $500 upfront to fix it, but John did it himself for $0. To check your own record for these hidden wealth killers, follow this 4-step process. First, log into your verified real account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Second, find the link to download your official full document called your Social Security Statement. Third, flip to the specific pages that list your earnings history year by year, going all the way back to your very first job. Fourth, meticulously review the numbers and look for any specific calendar years where you know you worked a legitimate job, but the agency lists $0 or an abnormally low number that does not match your memory. Keep in mind that this correction process applies strictly to verified W-2 wages and properly reported self-employment income filed via Schedule SE. Under-the-table cash jobs or unrecorded earnings cannot be legally added to your federal record to boost your final social. Security check. If you do find a 0 or a massive mistake on those pages, you need to use the official legal channel to force the government to update your file. This is the official Form SSA 7008 process, and it applies to any senior who detects an error on their wage statement. You never need to hire an outside law firm or a consulting website. The exact federal mechanism to correct your record is Standard IRS Form S SA-700E, which is officially titled the Request for Correction of Earnings Record. Consider Linda, who checked her statement and discovered a $0 entry for the year 2015. She actually earned $50,000 that year. Instead of falling for a fake online portal or panic searching for help, Linda completely avoided the scam. She went to the official website, printed out Form SSA-7008, and went to her home filing cabinet. She pulled out a physical copy of her 2015 W-2 form and attached a photocopy directly to the paperwork. The agency processed her submission, removed the 0, and updated her 35-year average. Her projected monthly benefit at full retirement age jumped from $1,600 to $1,640. That simple fix gained her an extra $480 every single year for the rest of her life, and it only cost her the price of a $5 certified mail stamp. You can execute this exact fix by taking these steps. First, download the official Form SSA-7008 directly from ssa.gov. Second, fill out the paperwork entirely, stating the exact calendar year the error occurred and the precise amount of wages that should be recorded. Third, attach concrete, undeniable proof of those earnings, which means a physical W-2 form, an official federal tax return, or a surviving pay stub from that exact time frame. Fourth, mail the package via certified mail with a return receipt requested directly to the agency or drop it off by hand at your local field office. If your old employer went completely bankrupt years ago and you cannot find your old W-2, the situation gets tougher. The agency will allow you to submit a signed affidavit from a former manager or a coworker who can verify your employment, but the evidentiary burden becomes much higher and the processing time slows down. You cannot afford to delay this review, because the law places a terrifying clock on your ability to fix these errors. This brings us to the payoff of our curiosity tease, the strict 3-year, 3-month, and 15-day rule. This is the official statute of limitations on your earnings history, and it applies to every single American worker and retiree. This is arguably the most dangerous hidden trap in the entire retirement framework. Under Section 205, subsection C, paragraph 1, subparagraph B of the Social Security Act, you generally have exactly 3 years, 3 months, and 15 days following the close of any taxable year to correct an error on your earnings record. Once that specific statutory deadline passes, your earnings record for that year becomes officially closed by law, and changing it requires meeting nearly impossible legal thresholds. Let's map out how this math destroys benefits for real people. David worked an intensive job throughout the year 2022, earning $60,000. However, his employer committed a severe clerical error on their year-end filings and reported $0 for his specific identifier. The clock on that 2022 error began ticking immediately. The absolute deadline to fix that mistake under the 3-year, 3-month, and 15-day rule is April 15th, 2026. Because David watched this channel and checked his statement in March of 2026, He discovered the zero, filed his form, restored his $60,000 entry, and completely protected his future retirement check. But imagine if David had waited until May of 2026 to check his history for the first time. The statutory clock would have already run out. The record would be legally closed. That $60,000 of real earnings would be permanently erased from his life history, dragging down his 35-year average and permanently shrinking his monthly check for the rest of his days. Protect yourself by adhering to this timeline. First, do not wait until you are 65 or 66 to open your online statement for the very first time. Second, make it a mandatory habit to download your official statement every single year during tax season. Third, verify that the W-2 wages from your previous working year perfectly match the numbers the agency has on file. Fourth, if you spot a discrepancy, file your Form SSA-7008 immediately before that 3-year clock expires. There are a few incredibly rare exceptions to this strict time limit. For example, if an employer completely omitted reporting any wages for you whatsoever, or if you possess an absolute pristine physical copy of a W-2 that proves a mechanical processing error occurred inside the government computers, they may review it. But relying on an exception is a massive, dangerous gamble with your financial survival. You must understand what these criminals are actually trying to achieve once they break through these deadlines and access your profile, because their end game is shockingly fast. This is the direct doped hijack mechanism. You need to understand that digital scammers are not trying to steal your identity to open up a dozen retail credit cards in your name. They want liquid cash, and they want it instantly. Once a criminal gets your username and password from a fake search engine portal, they do not waste time browsing your history. They navigate straight to the section marked My Profile. They open the payment settings and instantly replace your legitimate banking routing numbers with the routing details of a prepaid Green Dot or Direct Express card that they entirely control from overseas. When the next month rolls around, the automated federal system triggers your payment, but the money drops directly into the criminal's account instead of yours. Let's look at Mary, a retiree who receives $1,900 a month. A scammer managed to capture her password using a fraudulent login page, and they attempted to log into her real account at 3 o'clock in the morning to change her banking data. However, because Mary had set up strict multi-factor authentication, the official system refused to let the scammer in. Instead, the real government system automatically sent a text message containing a 6-digit verification code directly to Mary's physical cell phone. The scammer was sitting thousands of miles away and had no way to see her phone screen. They were completely blocked. Mary woke up the next morning, saw the unexpected text message, realized her master password had been compromised, and immediately reset it. She saved her $1,900 monthly check from being diverted because of a single simple text message shield. You can insulate your profile from this exact hijack by taking 3 defensive steps. First, log in and ensure that 2-factor authentication is strictly enforced on your Login.gov account. Second, verify that this security code is tied exclusively to your physical cell phone number via text, and never to an email address that a hacker could breach from a separate computer. Third, if you ever need to legitimately change your own bank account, follow the overall rule. Keep your old bank account wide open and fully funded until you see the first check physically land in your new account. Due to the rampant spread of this exact financial fraud, the government implemented a strict emergency rule that severely restricts anyone from changing direct deposit information over the automated telephone lines because that phone loophole is closed. Scammers are forced to use the online portal, which means your digital password and phone verification are the only 2 walls left standing between your money and a thief. If you are listening to this and you absolutely hate computers, or you do not own a smartphone and you never want to use the internet to manage your retirement, you are actually at the highest risk of all. A scammer who buys your data from a corporate breach can simply log on and create a brand new profile in your name because you haven't claimed it yet. To prevent this, you need to use the Block Electronic Access Shield, which is the ultimate account lockdown for anyone who wants to take their file entirely off the digital grid. This feature completely deactivates the online portal for your specific social security number. Once it is turned on, no one, not even you, can log in, view statements, or alter banking data over the internet. The digital door is completely bricked over with concrete. Consider Richard, who is 78 years old and does not own a computer or an email address. A criminal ring bought his social security number off a dark web data dump from a medical center breach. They tried to go online and build a fraudulent Login.gov profile using his identity to steal his monthly checks. But because Richard had previously called the agency and instituted the block electronic access restriction, the master government computer automatically rejected the scammer's registration attempt. The system flagged the number as locked down. Richard's monthly check of $2,300 remained perfectly secure in his local bank. The total cost to set up that lifelong block was exactly $0, and it protected a guaranteed annual income of $27,600. You can activate this lockdown right now by following these steps. First, dial the official national hotline at 1-800-772-1213. Second, navigate the prompts to speak with a live agent and thoroughly verify your identity over the phone. Third, state these exact words clearly to the representative. I want to add a block electronic access to my social security record. Fourth, understand the long-term rules. If you ever need to change your home address or update your bank routing numbers in the future, you can no longer do it online. You must perform those changes in person by walking into a physical local field office with a government-issued photo ID or by calling the master hotline. This block does not disrupt your monthly payments, and it does not freeze your personal credit reports. It simply severs the internet wire from your master federal file. If you ever decide you want to lift the restriction, you can do so, but you must physically present yourself to a government employee at a local office with proof of identity. Let's review everything we have covered today to ensure your money stays safe. First, never trust search engine results blindly. Type ssa.gov/myaccount directly into your browser to bypass fake portals. Second, complete your mandatory Login.gov transition safely without clicking on suspicious email links. Third, review your lifetime earnings record for missing years that drag down your 35-year average. Fourth, if you find an error, use the official form SSA-7008 and attach your physical W-2 forms to get your check adjusted for free. Fifth, remember the strict 3-year, 3-month, and 15-day deadline to correct those numbers before the legal window slams shut forever. Sixth, lock your digital profile with text message two-factor authentication to stop direct deposit hijacking. Seventh, if you want to stay completely offline, call the hotline and enforce the block electronic access shield to shut down the online portal entirely. Your social security number is the key to your retirement, but the MySSA portal is the digital vault. By avoiding search engine traps utilizing Form SSA 7008 and enforcing the BEA lockdown, you take absolute control of your financial security. Subscribe. Share this with someone you know who's on Social Security or Medicare. I'll see you in the next one.